Our podcast. This is episode number 2. And in our previous format, we are going to do a lettings update and a sales update, and then a little bit of a topical discussion after that then. So first of all, we're going to start with sales today. So Alex, take it away. What has been happening in the world of estate agency over the last few weeks?
So we have actually been particularly busy. It's been an amazing start to the year. I know that we spoke about it in our last podcast, that momentum is really building. But I think what is exciting and slightly nerve-wracking is the spring budget next week. We're in massive anticipation and hopeful of maybe some stamp duty changes to really help get the momentum going of the market. It's interesting to see what people's perceptions are and what everybody is hoping for. I think that's probably the main message that I'm seeing at the moment, is that that's what we're waiting for within the property world, within estate agency, is some flex on stamp duty. But it was funny because I saw an article where someone said we're more likely to bump into a unicorn in Regent Street than we are to have any stamp duty changes. I was like, I hope you're wrong. I'm looking for unicorns. But we really do need that, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see what comes out and what they are going to do to really boost the property industry. So from our side, I think that things are happening really nicely. Mortgage rates are definitely coming down, and there's a lot more appetite. So we're seeing a lot more sellers come to the market, more vows than we've ever seen, lots of really good instructions, and obviously sales are picking up. But it is a case of we really need that stamp duty element to come into play to really, I would say, to be an amazing 2024.
Yeah, is that to really give buyers this incentive? Because we're seeing a lot of vendors bring properties to market, but do you feel like that stamp duty change will give those buyers that incentive to really come forward and buy?
Definitely. I think that's the thing, is that when you look at the amount of money it produces, it's like over 13 billion pounds that are actually that we actually pay in stamp duty. So it is substantial. But when we look at being able to make sure that we can G the markets up again, when we last had, again, stamp duty holiday, if you like, was in probably the most precarious, volatile market in COVID, but still that appetite was monumental. So it just goes to show, if there are tweaks, even in marketplaces that we've never ever experienced or known, that there's still appetite, because of the stamp duty holiday that was actually apparent then. The demand was vast. We've never seen anything like it. So it just goes to, if you do tweaks along those lines, that is going to get the market. We've had crazy mortgage rates that have been up there, and I think that we really need to be able to help support first-time buyers coming into the market as well. I know obviously they get to get a few benefits on the stamp duty thresholds, but I think we really do need to get the market going again. And also equally so, Harry, on an investor's perspective, there's such a demand from that side that in order to help each other, we really need to encourage investors back into the market as well, to help the other side of the rental market. So I think it could help everybody. So I'm just really hoping that they're going to be sensible. So that's what I'm gearing myself up for this week, is the spring budget and waiting in anticipation. So hopefully there's some common sense and lots of unicorns.
Lots of unicorns, that's what we need. Lots of unicorn chat.
Definitely.
I hope.
What about in the lettings world?
Yeah, well, in the lettings world, we're also waiting with bated breath to see what comes from the budget. Like you mentioned, we're really hoping there'll be something in there, some incentive for landlords to A, keep their properties that they already have, and B, incentivize them to buy more, because you mentioned demand's still strong. We urgently need rental stock. We need more homes. So yeah, we're really hoping for that too. In terms of lettings, so rents are up 8.3% in the last year, which adds on average about 1,100 to the average annual rental bill. We've seen nearly 2 years though of 10+% increases. So actually this is the first time that those increases have dropped slightly. It's still a lot, but it's slightly sort of cooling in the rental market. Southwest in particular, so Southwest is at 8.1%, which is equivalent to about £80 a year. And London and Southeast, because I looked at all the areas that Andrews covers our branches, London up 6.4% and Southeast up 9.3%. So we're seeing a bit of a slow happening, but we're still seeing strong increases coming through for rents. Interestingly, as we always know, these are market rents, so these are rents of properties that are available to let. Established tenancies, they always lag behind. So established tenancies, the ONS tell us that they're up 6.2%. So they're still up year on year, but slightly behind that 8.3% that we could see for market rents. So it's still a great time to be a landlord. It's still, you're still being able to get some great returns from your investment property. And we just really hope that the government starts to see that they're such a valuable source of homes. That landlords do a really great job of housing tenants, and actually we need more of them. So yeah, that's lettings really for us. In terms of activity levels, since we started the year, we've been busy, similar to you. We've had lots of valuations coming through, so lots of landlords thinking about it, which is good to see. And our let activity levels have been really strong as well. But I mentioned on the last podcast that we have been experiencing what I'd call flaky tenants, and actually I was on an ARLA executive call this morning, talking to executives all over the country about what they're experiencing. And every single executive said the same, that they're all experiencing flaky tenants. Everyone is getting tenants, we're block booking viewings, and we're getting maybe 50% of those viewings turn up, even though we confirm them on the morning. We're getting tenants telling us they're putting in multiple offers on properties. And we're also getting tenants tell us that they want to take a property, and they're really excited and keen. And then when we chase them for that holding deposit, it just never materializes. So it is a bit frustrating for us, because what's happening is when we have that first block of viewings booked, you'll know, Alex, when you first put that property on the market is the really crucial time. We book those viewings, it's all really exciting. And then when we have to feed back to the landlord, half of the people didn't show up, and actually we might need to try and rebook another round of viewings, it just takes away that excitement and that sort of impact from putting that property on the market. So yeah, interesting times. It was interesting that all of the execs are getting the same. Made me definitely feel like I'm not on my own.
Reassuring.
Yeah. I'm not, it's not just us experiencing this. This is happening all over the country. So yeah, slightly more reassuring, but interesting that we're seeing this behaviour from tenants. And yeah, I'm starting, we're all sort of wondering why we're seeing this, really. So yeah, that's a bit about the world of lettings and world of sales. So next discussion point, I suggested to Alex that we have a chat about this particular topic, which I think would be interesting to many people in industry, both male and female. So this weekend was the weekend that's just gone was the 10-year anniversary of 𝘼𝙼𝙜𝙜𝙜𝙜's death. And the 𝘼𝙼𝙜𝙜𝙜 Trust was set up by her dad. 𝘼𝙼𝙜𝙜𝙜 she was murdered by her boyfriend at the time. She was a hairdresser, and she was murdered in the salon where she was working. And afterwards it came out that he had been stalking her and harassing her. And it was a 10-year death this weekend. So it's sort of quite poignant that big anniversary has arrived. And the 𝘼𝙼𝙜𝙜𝙜 Trust does a lot with regards to personal safety. They launched the 𝘼𝑔uard app, which I've rolled out many times to employees as a way to try and keep them safe when they're out and about on appointments. And so I just thought we could have a discussion about personal safety with an agency for both men and women, because it affects both of us, and what we could be doing to be better at this. So yeah, I mean, Alex, tell me about what do you tell your teams when it comes to personal safety? Like, what's your sort of message to them?
I think, like you said, it's such an important subject in our industry on such a wide scale, and it always has been. And I think that's the thing, is that we're lucky. I mean, we're working in Andrews at the moment, Harry, aren't we, on a massive project on loan working, and there's so many different elements to it. So we've been looking at certain things that we can roll out in terms of quick wins to be able to protect our staff, while we're looking at the wider scope, because there's so much. So Hannah House is working with Neil at the moment on really in-depth with all of the workflows. I mean, we've seen the work that she's done, and it is immense, and there's still a lot more to do. So it's being able to see what we can do until we have that finished article. But I do think it's going to be an ongoing piece. But I think
Yeah.
that's the thing, we take it for granted, and I think that the 10-year anniversary just kind of again highlights it, even though for us at Andrews, we're working on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we always have our fortnightly call. We've got it tomorrow, actually, in terms of the work that we're doing to keeping it alive. But I would say that we try and educate our staff really regularly and make it really important of the accountability and how vital it is. But we do want to make it the norm. So we were talking, Harry, weren't we, about making it the culture? So talking about it in morning meetings, make it very relevant. Not we talk about it, we forget about it. It's a policy, on our system that we can read. We have to genuinely live and breathe it, because we do underestimate the importance of our staff safety, because we go out to appointments, we take the information, we speak to the customers, we're excited to go out and see how we can help them, but we aren't going out and meeting strangers.
Yeah.
Again, it's being able to make sure we're doing everything to validate it and keeping our staff safe. And it might not be just customers. It's like with Holly, is that was her boyfriend, her partner, and it's being able to see on so many different ends of the spectrum what we can do. So that there's certain people that we use like WhatsApp groups to make sure that they're safe at the end of appointments, and being able to see those red flags, because when you actually get into the detail and you have a look at instances or near misses,
Yeah.
you can see the red flags, but it's not just seeing them after the event, but being aware. But I think it's easier said than done, Harry, isn't it? But I'm really proud that we're working together with such an amazing team at Andrews, because we take it so seriously, to be able to create something that we can use and make it as robust as possible, because we can't capture everything. We can absolutely try, and know that we've tried our very hardest to do anything and everything, but it is going to be an ongoing moving piece moving forward for sure.
Yeah. I think, we employ a lot of sort of younger staff. They come in, they start as consultants, either sales or lettings. They could be one of their first jobs ever, really.
Yeah.
Do you think they understand the implications of, you're going to somebody's house on your own as a young woman or a young man? You're probably going to be in there with no one else around you. Do you understand the implications of personal safety? Do you? I think unless we bring it alive like this, I just don't think people even think about that.
I don't think they do. I think that that's kind of the innocence, isn't it? We give people personal alarms, and we have different processes already in place that we are building on currently. But I think that from a standpoint, from an Andrew's perspective, it is very much, it's going with your gut instinct. If something doesn't feel right, don't go into the property, don't meet with that person. And I think we have to really make sure that we empower our people to feel that way, because there's so many times historically where you look at different organizations, and I've spoken to several people on this, where they've been in a situation they felt that they needed to go out and do an appointment because they needed to get they needed to get the sale, they felt some pressure from their manager. That absolutely is not advocated at all. Quite the opposite, actually, to have that attitude and that mentality, to have our people being empowered to say, it doesn't feel right, I don't feel comfortable, I'm not doing it. And that is the right attitude to have, because you would never ever want to put your people and your staff in danger,
Yeah.
especially. And I think you have to go with your gut a lot of the time. It's
I think
usually right.
it is, yeah. I think businesses could do more to advocate for this. I know that we do this within Andrews, and obviously we're working on this a lot, but I think the average letting agency or the average estate agency, they don't advocate for this. It isn't clear to their staff, if you are in a comfortable situation and you don't feel safe, please don't go. Like, we are not pushing this. And I just think as an industry we could do more to be clearer on this. I also think I think it's ludicrous that not all agency staff are DBS checked, or that we don't get DBS checks for our contractors, or all of this thing. I think our industry could have a better viewpoint on this, really, and it's just about how we lead the way with it, I guess.
I think that's such a valid point. I think that's a really good idea as well, because there's nothing by way of the do's or the don'ts. I know that Natalie put a great article in for Propertymark on the loan working elements and the things to watch out for. But like you said, in terms of being able to make sure that the industry standard is at such a level that everybody should be doing it as a bare minimum. If you want to build on that and do so much more, that's great. and being able to share it with people so that everybody can benefit, being able to, our Preston and Andrews. And I know that we've had certain encounters where actually, can we share this with our immediate agents to make sure that everybody is aware and transparent that their teams might be at risk as well? It's all well and good us looking after our teams and making sure our staff are safe, but actually, if that person is working and operating in our region or in our area, how are we sharing that information with the other agents in our location? I think that's really vital. That needs to be looked at.
I think it was interesting. We had a discussion about this a while ago because there are shops, if they notice a shopkeeper, they can alert the other shops in the local area that there's a shoplifter. Shopkeeper.
I know what you meant, Harry.
If there's a shoplifter, they can notify other people, but we do not have anything like that. So if anything happens in one of our branches, and estate agents, we tend to congregate together, we tend to cluster together on the same street.
We're the same breed.
And we're the same breed. So if we become aware of a potentially dangerous situation, there should be some kind of function of alerting the other agents in our area to say, this person is unsafe, do not deal with them. And at the moment, we have nothing other than us, schlepping up and down the high street, telling people about this potential risk. So, yeah, I think it's a huge... I'm just surprised this has never come out before, that nothing's been done about it.
That's the thing, that this many years on, like you said, there's nothing really that is solid, is there, really, to protect anybody in agency, full stop.
Yeah. Well, it's great that we're working on it.
Yeah,
and I'm sure there are other businesses. I'm sure there are many businesses out there that are working on it and are coming up with ideas. So, if you're listening to this and you're a letting agent or you're an estate agent and you've got a great solution for this that you do with your staff, then please share it with us, drop it in the comments, share it with, as many people as you can, actually, because the more we can get this out there, then the better, the safer that all of the people that work in our industry are. So yeah, I'd be really interested to hear any other ideas on this, to be honest.
But all is, it helps everybody, doesn't it?
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for listening, everyone. That is our second podcast wrapped up. If you have any ideas for anything you'd like us to discuss on the podcast, the Harry and Alex duo, let us know, and we will be creating this podcast's own YouTube page. So we would really appreciate a favor of just give us a quick subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, just give us a really quick subscribe, and if you do that, you will get some really interesting content that you can listen to with a cup of tea and a biscuit anytime you want. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Harry. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.